Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wednesday. Oh, hold on. Let me get my lighting right. I forgot to turn my light on. Oof. There we go. There we go. Grand Rising, good people. Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Let's make sure as you enter the building, you are liking for the YouTube algorithm. We definitely appreciate that. So as you come in, please like the video. Big bro Tafari is already in the building. Far, I need you locked in today, baby. We're gonna go over all these aggressive women came at me. These older women, they came at me on one of my posts. We're gonna go over it, talk about some of the issues, and hopefully we can find some type of, I don't know, some type of middle ground to move forward rather than just feel like we're at war with each other. But sometimes you gotta go to war to have peace, right? Oh man, let me actually try something. Hold on one second. You already know they are, and happy, self-proclaimed, convincing me that they are. Coming on a stranger's page just to convince me that they are. I don't know. I like that. Yeah, man. It's like, yo, it's to the point where the post that I put up yesterday, or not last week, I should say, it's got like 15,000 views. It's hold on, how many? I want to see how many comments it's got on there now. And it's just, yo, people just commented on it right before I got on the show. And I'm just like, yo, damn, y'all, like I don't have the energy to go back and forth with it no more. Like normally somebody comments and I feel the need to respond. I don't right now. Like it's just too much. It's almost 400 comments. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. But we are here today. I'm getting right into it. As I said, when you come in the building, please make sure that you like, share with a friend if you're, you know, hopefully you're not driving right now. Send this to a friend and let's get them in. The more the merrier. Big bro and we already on it. I already got him started early. He said the weak find any reason to be triggered. That is a fact. So we're not waiting. My parents, why I'm not waiting, because I got us to definitely end by 9. My parents, their Uber is leaving at 9:15. So I got to make sure that I'm off by then. So we're going to get right into it. All right. So The Law of Success. Today's reading is from The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, man, he's one of the GOATs. So make sure that you tap in with him. I've told you guys about his other book, the one that I read first, Think and Grow Rich. This is like 540 pages. This is like a Bible, man. This is a thick read. But it's worth it. It's worth it. And a lot of these things talk about the same principles that we discuss: imagination, desire, all these different things. But this particular reading is focused on desire. And I just want to get into it, you know, hear your guys' thoughts. I picked this book back up yesterday. reading it by the water, and it did something to me. So hopefully it'll hit y'all as well. All right, so I'm kind of going to get into it. It's not like the other book where it's like each chapter is only a page and a half. So I'm just taking a passage out of one of the chapters. I don't even know which chapter this is. Doesn't matter. All right. So we're talking about desire, and it starts in the middle of him, talking about how certain people had different desires and how that worked out for them. So let's get right to it. Once again, The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon desired to become emperor of France and did rule. Lincoln desired to free the slaves, and he accomplished it. The French desired that they shall not pass at the beginning of the World War, and they didn't pass. Edison desired to produce light with electricity, and he produced it, although he was many years in doing so. Roosevelt desired to unite the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through the Panama Canal, and he did it. Demosthenes, who I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, desired to become a great public speaker, and despite the handicap of serious impediment of speech, he transformed his desire into reality. Helen Keller desired to speak, and despite the fact she was deaf, dumb, and blind, she now speaks. John H. Patterson desired to dominate in the production of cash registers, and he did it. Marshall Field desired to be the leading merchant of his time, and he did. Shakespeare desired to become a great playwright, and despite the fact that he was only a poor, itinerant actor, let's look up that word, he made his desire come true. Billy Sunday desired to quit playing baseball and become a master preacher, and he did it. James J. Hill desired to become an empire builder, and despite the fact he was only a poor telegraph operator, he transformed that desire into reality. Obviously, y'all get the point. Now we're going to get into a little bit of pointing the finger towards us. All right, don't say it can't be done, or that you are different from these and thousands of others who have achieved noteworthy success in every worthy calling. If you are different, it is only in this respect. They desire the object of their achievement with more depth and intensity than you desire yours. Plant in your mind the seed of a desire that is constructive by making the following your creed and the foundation of your code of ethics. All right, so make the following your creed and the foundation of your code of ethics. I wish to be of service to my fellow men as I journey through life. To do this, I have adopted this creed as a guide to be followed in dealing with my fellow beings, to train myself so that never under any circumstances will I find fault with any person, no matter how much I may disagree with him or how inferior his work may be, as long as I know he is sincerely trying to do his best. As long as I know he is sincerely trying to do his best. To respect my country, my profession, and myself, to be honest and fair with my fellow men, as I expect them to be honest and fair with me, to be a loyal citizen of my country, to speak of it with praise and act always as a worthy custodian of its good name, to be a person whose name carries weight wherever it goes, to base my expectations of reward on a solid foundation of service rendered, to be willing to pay the price of success and honest effort, to look upon my work as an opportunity to be seized with joy and made the most of, and not as a painful drudgery to be reluctantly endured. To remember that success lies within myself, in my own brain. To remember that success lies within myself, in my own brain. To expect difficulties and to force my way through them. To avoid procrastination in all its forms and never under any circumstances put off until tomorrow any duty that should be performed today. Finally, to take a good grip on the joys of life so I may be courteous to men, faithful to friends, true to God, a fragrance in the path I tread. The energy which most people dissipate through lack of self-control would, if organized and used constructively, bring all the necessities and the luxuries desired. The time which many people devote to gossiping about others would, if controlled and directed constructively, be sufficient to attain the object of their definite chief aim, if they had such an aim. All successful people grade high on self-control. All successful people grade high on self-control. All quote unquote failures grade low, generally zero, on this important law of human conduct. Study the comparative analysis chart in the introductory lesson and observe whatever. Study those around you and observe with profit that all the successful ones exercise self-control, while the failures permit their thoughts, words, and deeds to run wild. One very common and very destructive form of lack of self-control is the habit. We're not going to get into that. We're going to stop right there and maybe get into that in a little more. But just wanted to share that with y'all because I think that's a dope creed that, and I can figure out a way to get this to you all. But a dope creed that we all can adopt puts a lot of the attention and energy on ourselves, being accountable. And in all success, it really comes down to desire. That's what the book's saying. And I heard somebody that I wouldn't typically listen to a lot of their stuff, but my big bro Jim sent me a podcast by Steve Harvey, and he was saying that desire is one thing, but that discipline, that's the real one. Anybody can have desire, but the discipline, that's what takes it to the next level. This book is just simply saying that if you desire it, if you really desire it, then you'll have the discipline. So they're saying similar things, but just wanted to share that with y'all. We all have different desires. Whether or not we've accomplished those desires comes down to one thing, and has come down to one thing: ourselves. So that's a good thing, because that means that should empower us, that if we want to do something, it's still on us, and there's just more that we can be doing. So let's keep that there. Whoo, we got a full show. So like I said, I got the follow-up from the weekend. So I'm gonna show y'all this. I already got everything queued up, because I knew we gotta move fast. Well, not move fast today, but we just want to really be make sure that we get through everything. So I'm gonna share with y'all exactly what post I'm talking about. You guys should already remember what it is, but I'm gonna just play it again very quickly, just so you guys have it on top of your mind. And we're gonna go over some of the responses that I got, and how lost we are, you know, or how just not on the same page we are. So let's take a look at that. All right, so this is the same one. I'm not playing it to trigger anybody again. I'm just reminding y'all exactly what we're talking about.
I've been hearing a lot of talk that men aren't protecting women anymore. And that's because men aren't supposed to protect women. A man is supposed to protect a woman.
What do you mean by that?
Now, if you want to be strong and independent and not have a husband there and have a man's protection, be under a man's covering, that is your problem. My husband signed up to protect me, not you. He signed up to protect me and the children. He is not jumping in front of a bullet. He is not putting himself in danger to make sure you are okay, so he could possibly lose his life and leave me alone with the kids. That would never occur to him, so I'm sorry. Why don't you pick a husband, get the protection you feel you deserve so badly, and solve your own problem? Because it's not my husband's.
All right, so that was the one video. Now, the second video, which didn't have as many views, but this I actually found myself having more back and forth with, and just being extremely confused by, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. So here it goes. They're misleading us. I really believe that. And I don't believe that a lot of these single women that are well into their 40s, 50s, and 60s, I don't believe that they're really happy. I believe that society is trying to convince them to be happy, and that they're trying to convince themselves, but I feel like they're lying to themselves, and even worse than that is they're lying to their next generation. They're lying to their kids, because it's just not realistic. Like, we're not here. We're here to be with somebody. Like, that's just what I believe. We're here to be with somebody. We're on earth to live and share those experiences with somebody else. They're misleading us. I really believe that. And I don't believe that. All right. So multiple conversations came about from these two videos. And I'm just going to kind of bounce back and forth, maybe highlight some of the back and forths that I had with some people, and some that I saw that weren't even involving me. I got into one where a lot of older women, they felt as if they came on the page and they said, oh, how are you going to tell us that we're not happy? Here goes another guy telling us that we're not happy. I'm single, I'm traveling, I'm enjoying life, I've dated, I've been married. Some of them have been married, now I'm divorced. All this other stuff, they're saying how happy they are. And it's ironic, because one lady in particular, she literally was commenting towards me for the entire weekend. I'm talking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it got to the point where I was like, man, if you're so happy, then why do you feel the need to go back and forth with a complete stranger on their post trying to convince me that you're happy? It's cool. You're happy. But see, these are the type of women that are so dangerous to society and so dangerous to communities that struggle when it comes to relationships and getting married. Why? Because she's the type of person that is running around swearing that she's happy and living the most amazing life because she got out of her quote unquote toxic relationship. And she will tell me that, oh, well, do you think that I should just, I should be in just a terrible relationship, or I should just be single? And she doesn't even realize how scarred she is. Because why do you just assume that the relationship is going to be toxic? Why do you just assume, no, the relationships that you chose in the past, you allowed to change you, you allowed to scar you because you didn't pick the right guy. So therefore now you're looking at all relationships as if they're a terrible thing, and everything is relative, right? Everything is relative. Now, what would end up happening is a lot of these women would come on and they would say that they're happy. But then if I asked some of them, well, would you be happier if you were in a healthy relationship? Still, a lot of them would argue, but some of them would say, well, of course I'd be happy if I was in a happy relationship, but da, 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 da. And I said, that's what we're gearing towards. I said, you're just comparing your situation to being in a terrible relationship. Of course, anybody's better off being single than being in an abusive, unhealthy relationship. That's not what's being discussed. But and the more they don't even understand it. So they're telling me, and let me actually get to some of these comments. But Lucille's on. She showed grand rising, beautiful people, sending love, light, and blessings. And then she also wrote, I'm happy, but I'm going to be happier with my beloved by my side and not dying unmarried. It's just a fact, right? And Lucille, I appreciate you saying that, because when we talk about things being relative, if you are happy now and you're saying that you're happy now because you associate any relationship as being unhealthy, as being toxic, because there's no good men out here and all this other stuff, why do we think there are no good men out here? Why do we think there are no good men out here? That's my question. There's no good men out here. And to a lot of these women that I'm talking to, they have kids. So I said, there's no good men out here because they're being raised by women. There's no good men out here because they have no example in the household when they're growing up of what a man, how they should conduct themselves, how they should carry themselves, what purpose they have, what responsibilities they have, and what they're accountable for. So when you have your kids, and by you telling them that being single is the right thing, what do you think that's going to encourage? That's going to encourage more of the same, maybe even more intense issues than she's dealing with at this particular time. What do you think your daughter's going to have to choose from? What do you think your son is going to have to choose from? And they'll sit here and only focus on their individual happiness, not even realizing, when I asked them, I said, how can you be happy knowing that your kids who are not growing up in a two-parent household are not growing up in the best environment for them to be successful? But you're running around saying you're happy. What about your kids? It's not fair for them to grow up in a household that's not two-parent. It's not fair for them. We've already looked at the stats. We know that, to be totally honest, a child growing up in a single-parent household with a woman, the boy is more likely to go to prison. The daughter's more likely to have a child early. With a father being the only parent, those results are actually similar. I believe they're the same as far as the kid growing up in a two-parent household. So if we want to keep it real, the real issue is the kids growing up without a father in the household. Why? Because the father brings about discipline. Because you can get through life with and this is gonna sound, this is just these are just my beliefs. The woman, what she brings to the table, love, nurturing, all these things. The man brings the discipline, accountability, those things. Without a man in the household, if the child grows up without discipline, especially a boy, that child's done. Now, if a child grows up without the nurturing behavior of the mother, they're going to significantly miss out on a lot. I'm not saying that at all. But when it comes to the structure and discipline, as far as them being prepared to be men in life, they're going to be in a better position. It just is what it is. We can't argue with stats. I'm not here to play sides. It just is what it is. And real quick, we're going to stop and get some feedback. So Lucille wrote, there's a good man for me out there. God already told me who he is. Lucille, I really hope that you find him. I really do. I really do. I hope that he finds you. I don't hope that you find him. I hope that he finds you. I really do. Because I think it's very important for our development. I think it's very important for us enjoying life. Like, why when I say we're not here to be alone, do I get so much pushback? Like, think about how effed up we have to be to say, like, yo, we're meant to be alone. We're meant to go through this journey in life with a significant other, a husband or a wife, and you get pushback from people. Like, imagine how messed up our community is to receive that. Tafari wrote, there's no good men, no good women. They keep thinking they're good when in reality they are trash, delusional trash. It's a fact. It's a fact. And what's so wild is, how it happens on Instagram is most of these posts that are directly addressing the women, those are the ones that go viral or the ones that get more attention and engagement. So a lot of these women, they'll comment on the page and say, just talking about women. I'll be like, yo, my energy is just as strong or stronger to men. This is all men's fault. This is the fault of soft men that have allowed this to happen. Soft, both from a standpoint of not staying in your kid's life by any means, and soft from a standpoint of just allowing yourself to get rolled over when you know what's right, but you want to be liked rather than guiding your kids in the right direction. You want to be friends with your kids. You want to allow women to lead. You want to do all these things that you know damn well that you are supposed to carry through in the relationship. Now, hold on. Ja in the building. What up, Ja? Ja wrote, assuming a relationship will be toxic sounds like it's coming from an unhealed point of view. When you've been hurt or continually see women around you hurt in unhealthy relationships, that's the thing. And it's like, yo, we have to understand this. And Ja wrote, you subconsciously think negatively of relationships and deem them toxic. That's a fact. Hold on, my fan just went off. Hold on, I gotta turn my fan on. It's hot. Now we can't have that. But everything that you just said, Ja, I agree with. And that's the thing. Like, you ever have an argument with somebody and it's like, yo, you do realize that the things that I'm fighting for, like this post is being put up so we can have healthier relationships. So we can realize and not tell our daughters and the younger generation that all men ain't shit and you better off by yourself. Literally, we're the behavior or the conversations that we're bringing to the table are for these exact reasons. And let me give y'all, hold on. I want to make sure that I'm staying on my notes. It got to the point. Let me show you how bitter this situation got. One lady that I was going back and forth with, she probably was in her 50s. And I'm gonna be real. And I feel bad, saying this, but there was a certain type of women that were making comments. And a lot of these women are delusional based on their expectations and what they believe that they deserve. I'm just talking about the women that I had conversations with. And why I say this, and I have to be very direct and honest. I don't want to say what I'm about to say, but I have to say it. Not as attractive, extremely overweight in some instances, and these women still believe that they should get the A1 top-notch guys. And it's just not realistic. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying, you may be saying, like, what does this have to do with anything? Because unrealistic expectations mess up a lot of things. Unrealistic expectations mess up a lot of things. Now, I'm not at all sitting here saying that, oh, if you're not a supermodel, then you don't deserve to be treated with respect, dignity, all these different things. I'm not saying that at all. Everybody deserves that. Let me be clear. Everybody deserves that if that's what you're giving. But when it comes to you coming on and making these comments and saying this because you expect this, you expect that, that carries over into you not giving to the relationship certain things, but expecting unrealistic things in return as well. It's just delusion. And on the flip side, you would never see, but guys, we're different. Yo, a guy, a group of guys, let's say there's a group of, my boys and we see a group of ladies. You know exactly what you qualify for, bro. You know exactly. There's no, oh, I'm making 15,000 a year and I'm gonna bag this, like I deserve that supermodel, that A1. Yo, it's a real, you could take your shot. I ain't saying that. But in all actuality, we're more aware of what we qualify for. So this same lady that I'm going back and forth with that I said was older in her 50s, and I'm just like, yo, like you're just, I don't know. I mentioned Kevin Samuels. And I said in my Kevin Samuels voice, something that Kevin Samuels used to say. I forget what he was saying. I forget exactly what. Matter of fact, let's go to it. Hold on. Because I want to make sure that I'm giving it to y'all word for word. But I mentioned Kevin Samuels. Hopefully I could find it. If not, it is what it is, because there's a lot of comments. Actually, I have it right here. Hold on. So I wrote, you can't make this up. That was my response, what I wrote. I just wrote, you can't make this up. And I said, R.I.P. Kev Samuels' voice, because she was so delusional. You know what her response was? Let me read this. Kevin Samuels. Oh, wait, hold on. Shoot. Damn, hold on. I can't find her. She wrote it on a different thread. All right, well, she wrote, and she may have deleted it actually, because I responded to it and just said, based on this, I'm just going to keep it moving. She wrote, oh, Kevin Samuels. Well, where is he right now? Yeah, just a reminder, we live longer than y'all. Ah, ha, 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 ha. That's what her response was. Think about how bitter you have to be to make fun of somebody who's dead. Where is he right now? Ha, 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 ha. We live longer. Those are the type of combos that we ended up having. And to me, it's just sad. And with a lot of these combos, when they get to that point, like I'm becoming better and better with doing what the book says, exercising my self-control, being a little bit more stoic, and not trying to argue with these people, but just saying like, yo, this is where I stand on it. As long as it's respectful, we can keep the conversation and dialogue going. But once that happens, I just told them like, hey, I literally wrote, I'm just going to walk away. I appreciate you engaging with the post, and I'll take everything that you just said into account and into consideration as I process it and move forward. That's literally what I wrote. And yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Let me make sure that I get to these comments. Lucille wrote, I will be a counselor for a happy marriage, biblical marriage. We need those. We definitely need those. Tafari wrote, you are how you think. If you're thinking like trash, then you're trash. If you're thinking like success, then you're that too. I agree. Tafari wrote, I call cap. Everyone does not deserve that. You earn that. Facts. I agree with that. If you're giving out something, you can expect it in return. So then I want to get back to a conversation on the protection video. I should show y'all this. I should show y'all the picture, but let me not actually show y'all the picture, but I'm going to show y'all. I don't want to. You know what? Hold on. because I was having a convo where a lot of women chimed in, sending me messages, all types of, you should be protecting women by all. No. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And hold on, let me get to these. Let me make sure y'all can't see my. I don't want to expose any messages or anything. I'm really not trying to do that. But certain things have to be brought to light. And hold on. Let's see if I can find her post, because I really, oh, come on, man. Where is this? Hold on, bear with me, because I wasn't even gonna go here, but all right, boom, I found her. All right. This page isn't available. So hold on, let me find out. This chick blocked me because I exposed her. Hold on. Oh man, I wonder if she blocked the other page though. Hold on. See, now we got it. Now we getting into it. See, nah. So hold on. Hold up. I gotta hold on. And Shorty got mad when I wouldn't respond. Hold on. All right, whatever. We going Friday. I got y'all, because I can't. She blocked me, so I can't see it. Hold on. Very petty. Like I said, I kept it respectful. I'll show y'all the entire convo. One thing that she can't do is get rid of the thread. So I still got that. So I got the receipts like Tyrese, you heard? All right, so let me just tell you what happened. So she put up a Malcolm X post, a Malcolm X speech that was talking about protecting women, how Malcolm X was saying how, the black woman is the least protected woman. The black woman is the least protected woman, the least respected, all these different things. And that's what she was putting up, saying we need to protect, and her caption was like, we need to protect black women by any means. In that very same post, you know how you can have multiple, the video and then the picture and all that stuff, and you just swipe. In that very same post, she's laying on her bed in her underwear with a protect black women shirt, or black women, or this black women. Like, you want the protection of Malcolm X. You're posting Malcolm X. This is before he became El Hajj. You're posting Malcolm X talking about the protection of black women. You want to be protected like Malcolm X, like what Malcolm X is preaching. But you don't want to act like the type of women that Malcolm X was protecting in his circle. Because you're laying on your bed in underwear with a t-shirt on talking about protect black women. And that's the type of post that you put up next to Malcolm X. Do you see how confused we are? This is the type of stuff. She thinks that she's out here fighting for freedom and fighting for all these different things. It's like, we're too smart, we're dumb. It really gets to that point. And hold on, let me make sure that I'm Tafari wrote, just like the brick chick, you got to expose them 304s. Yo, what's a 304? I keep saying that. What is it? I don't even know what it is. And shout out to my guy Kiki in the building. So these are the type of combos that I'm having. Like, this is the insanity that we're seeing. You're laying in bed in underwear. Then in the same post you're posting, black women need to be protected. And shaming, what ends up happening? Women start shaming men for not looking out for women. And I got, it's so funny how I get certain messages. I got a message from one of my homegirls, and the message was, oh, men should be raised to protect this, to protect that, and that's your job, and da-da-da-da. And I said, okay, it's very funny how you want to talk about my job as a traditional man, like the job of my role as a traditional man. Is your job to shut up when I'm talking? Isn't that how a lot of those old school men, you talking about how, oh, when things with my grandfather and all this other stuff. oh, you want traditional, super traditional when it benefits you, right? You want to use those traditional standards when it benefits you. But then when it doesn't benefit you, and I talk about, oh, well, that's your job. Okay, well, you're the same type of woman that's 40 years old running around saying, oh, I'm not going to have any kids or whatever. I'll just take care of this, take care. I got a niece or I got a little girl, whatever. Isn't your job to get married, to have kids when we talk about traditions? So why is the tradition only used when it's convenient for you, but then you want to push away from the tradition when it's not convenient for you? Do you see how these things end up happening? And this same conversation that I'm having, she's telling me how her men were raised and how she was raised. And I said, it's so funny how you want to talk all this community stuff, how men in the community, what have you done for your community? It's always the women that are selfish, would never lift a hand for anybody in their community, but putting pressure on everybody else, putting pressure on men to stand up and be a force in the community, to stand. Bro, you can't, like, the delusion, the audacity, the fact that the entitlement that happens to where I don't even get why. We are just clearly not on the same page. And it was actually a little disappointing to have these conversations, just because it just shows how the road that we're headed down. It shows the road that we're headed down. And it to me, it just creates a whole bunch of dynamics to where even people that agree, there's just still that level of conflict there that we're not able to get over, so that we can have all of these healthy relationships that we're looking for. So hold on, let me see. Tafari wrote, I also remember being blocked for trying to protect a woman's dignity. Ooh, Tafari, that's an excellent point. And that's an excellent point. And I remember what you're referring to. And without going into too much detail, I believe Tafari's referring to, he made a very he made it. Well, I don't even want to get into it. That's not for me to share. That's not for me to share. I'll just leave that there. See, I'm growing. Najah wrote, yeah, I wouldn't even engage with someone like that. They have situational points of view, which when it best benefits them or their views. And what's wild is, Ja, it's like happening with more and more and more people. Like, it literally makes no sense. And literally, this person in particular that I'm going back and forth with, I'm sitting here looking like, yo, you know me in real life. You know exactly. You would feel more protected around me than any man in your family. I know you. I know your family. And you're coming at me with this. You would feel I'm more of a stand-up man. That, you know what? Let me. Nah. Far wrote, share, just leave names out. I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to do that, because if I really see, this is the thing, yo, I'm really not here to create clickbait or all this other stuff. It's because I know that most of these conversations, to be totally honest, we can have them here and it'd be a cool conversation. But most people in real life, we're not even at a maturity level to where we can have these type of combos. Where we can even have these combos. And actually, and without just saying all the negative, I do have to bring up some of the positive, because I did this. One of my homegirls down in Miami, just met her through Instagram, good energy. She commented on working out. We just, whatever, never even met her in person. And we had a long back and forth to where she commented on the post. And certain people, this is another thing, and y'all tell me if I'm right or wrong for this. When somebody comments on like a post where, and they have a strong opinion saying like, oh, this is not the, like, they may say this is dumb, da-da-da. And I'm like, she just said my post was dumb. Cool. But I actually, know the person. Maybe I respect the person. I decided not even to comment back on her. I just sent her a message. Like, hey, if you ever like this is my point based on A, B, and C. You know, how are you seeing this? Like, what issue did you take with this? And I'm like, and why even engage? Like, you don't even need to engage in any back and forth, like on you know, social media. You know, you can DM me. You DM me about other stuff. Why not just DM me about this? Because I'm not looking for to be going back and forth, especially with people I know, that you can have a more you can build better by just having a more engaging conversation rather than just using it to just debate somebody on Instagram. And y'all have seen that I've had this situation happen in the past with a homegirl of mine. And she ended up apologizing because she ended up coming. I said, you know what? Like, when somebody gets to the point where it's just too much back and forth, I say, you know what? Why don't you come on the show? Why don't you come over? We can record, have this conversation on camera, and then we'll put it out there for the world to see, and they can judge. And this person in particular came to the house, did that, and by the end of it, I think she was very happy when I told her, like, hey, I'm not going to record this. I'm not going to put this out. I don't think it's a good representation of you. And I don't think that you were properly prepared to have this conversation. You were just triggered by my initial one. And I didn't put it out because I'm not looking to hurt people, especially that I'm cool with. And it's so funny how people who know you in real life, know your energy, know your heart, will still come on here and argue all this other stuff. And that's why I finished the last message with my homegirl, where it was just like, yo, like, okay, what type of man do you think I am? Based on all these things, like, what type of man do you think I am? And it was just no response. Because she already knows what it is. Like, when you start questioning the character of, when you start questioning my character, and I know you personally, and I know the men in your family, and I know how they move, and I know their standards and their morals and their level of integrity, you're going to criticize mine and then talk about all this tradition in your family. Well, let's talk about it. Let's dive a little bit deeper into it. Do you really want to have that conversation? And then usually it's more of a either an ignore or fall back, change that. And it's more of an energy shift because y'all don't want to do that. It's like, yo, here you have somebody that's clearly, bro, I'm not one of these toxic dudes that come on here trying to have these conversations to piss people off, bro. I'm looking for results, man. And I always acknowledge shortcomings of my own. So it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, it's just weird. All right. But all right. So let me show y'all a little something. This is a video that I wanted to show y'all when it comes to the different styles of us raising our kids. Hopefully we can kind of shift the combo a little bit and get more to the building. I know I feel like I've just been venting to y'all, but I wanted to share this with y'all and get y'all opinion. Hold on, let me make sure that I'm catching up with the comments. Lucille wrote, "A real man will always protect the real woman." What's a real woman? Lucille, break it down. What's a real woman? I need to know. I'm sorry, growing up in this day and age, it's very hard to tell, and I don't want you to get in any trouble either with the trans community or anything like that. So what do you mean by real woman? Lucille wrote, "I can't speak for others but myself. I wanted a man like myself, and God gave me what I asked for. No smoking, no drinking, no tattoos, and best of all, he got to put God first because we go to God and yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Yeah, you should be able to ask for whatever it is that you're looking for. I guess you should ask for it. Your energy at the end of the day and what you put out into the universe is going to determine what you get back, in my opinion. But you can ask for whatever that you want. You can ask for whatever you're looking for. But let's kind of shift the energy a little bit. I want to show y'all this video that breaks down the differences between, you know, a guy raising hold on. Oh, matter of fact, didn't want to show y'all that. Not yet. We ain't showing that convo yet. But on Friday, we may get into it. I may tell her, like, yo, unblock me and let me see this post. I think I got a screenshot of it, actually. So don't even trip. But like I said, I ain't trying to even engage in that type of energy. But all right, so let y'all take a look at this. Let me know what y'all think. Are we up? All right, let me make sure we're on the screen. Yeah, this is why it's so important to have a two-parent household.
live your life and have fun.
So what I would tell my son is the brutal reality of the world. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be brutal. It's not going to be okay. You will suffer like a motherfucker if you don't get to work. You better compete and compete early. Every day you wake up, you're in competition. My sons are going to be ruthless and they're going to own your sons. And that's why single women, they raise these boys and it kind of sets them up. Because if there's not a strong father in the house, the son is at a disadvantage. It's ruthless out there. It is nature. I'm raising my sons against the bullshit you said you're going to tell your sons.
I would tell my son to live your life and have fun.
So what I would tell my son is the brutal.
Somebody call DYFS or Child Services ASAP. You're raising your kids to live your life and have fun. And then you wonder why you can't find a guy that is a righteous leader. You just sit here and say that you're raising your kids to enjoy life and have fun. Do we see what's going on, or is it just me? Am I confused? Am I confused? Because this stuff is not making sense. And this is why what I said earlier, if you do not, and let me be very clear, I totally agree as far as nobody can stay in a completely unhealthy relationship. Nobody can stay in an unhealthy relationship. But the convo that I don't even like having, I'll be totally honest. Like even with my homegirl, the one that I was talking about that we're cool on Instagram, we were having a good conversation and it became a little bit awkward for me because my communication style is very direct. It's direct and it's honest, and it's because, and it becomes even more direct and more honest, brutally honest, when I'm having a conversation that I really am uncomfortable with, because that's how I feel that they should be dealt with. So she has a child that she's raising, and we were having a conversation. And like I said, it was actually a very respectful conversation, the entire thing. But where I felt uncomfortable is because I had to tell her, like, everything that you're saying is because you learned what you learned after you had your child. But what we need to do is learn everything that we need to learn before we have that child. We need to have, ladies, I've told you guys this before, we need to have men that we trust in our family that can help us vet these men before we have kids with them, and before we realize, we quote unquote realize what they were always exhibiting, but we just excused it before. But before we realize that, you know what, this is just too much, I don't want to be in this anymore. Because then it's too late for that particular child. And I hate having this conversation because it's one of those things where a lot of the women that I do talk to, they understand it, they get it. But it's now they're in a position where it's like, okay, now that I understand it, like I wasn't taught this. And it's not fair to y'all. It's not fair to y'all. This is what pisses me off. This is why I'm so passionate about calling out soft men who are not leading in the right way, who are not there to help their daughters, to help their nieces vet out men. It just bothers me because now you have women that are growing up who weren't taught how to vet men. So now they get involved in these situations to where then they'll have a kid with somebody that if they had the leadership there from a father, they may not have been engaged with. So now they have this kid, and it's like, now you learn everything because you just weren't taught it. It's not your fault. Like a lot of this stuff, we got to get off whether it's somebody's fault or it's this person's fault. We always try to play the blame game, and we always try to rationalize the position that we're in. So therefore, we'll just say whatever that makes us feel more comfortable about whatever situation that we're in, instead of just sitting in our situation and saying, you know what, I messed up. I messed up. And one of the things that I was, in this same conversation, I was saying where it's like, I understand that we have to sacrifice. And let me see, I really did. I was trying to avoid more of the conversation. Let me finish my thought process. So with the single women that now acknowledge it as they get older and they have kids, it becomes uncomfortable for me because now we're having a conversation about something that you can't go back on and you wouldn't even want to go back on. That's your kid, of course. Like, come on now, that's a blessing. But the reality is now if you don't find a man that can be a significant factor in that, especially son's life or that daughter's life, now you're contributing to the cycle of it happening again for the next generation. And I don't like putting that on people, but I have to have that direct convo, because if we don't, then there will be no urgency. Like if I'm talking to my homegirl, there will be no urgency in it, because then she'll just continue to cycle, and everything that she has gone through will set how she sees things just based on her own personal experience. And we can't go off of that, because if you have a personal experience that just deals with 2 or 3 bad dudes, now you're saying that every dude is bad. And now you're contributing to that same cycle. So you get what I'm saying? So in this conversation that I was having with her, I said, yo, we need to understand that we need to sacrifice a bit. We need to sacrifice for the next generation. And ladies, let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. Just as much as y'all complain about men, y'all are just as terrible. It is what it is. And why are y'all just as terrible? Because y'all weren't raised to be wives either. Y'all weren't raised to live in your feminine energy either. A lot of times you were raised by the circumstances that your mother was in. So therefore, the circumstances determine your outlook on life, right? So because her circumstances were similar to what your circumstances are now, she thought that men ain't ish and all this other stuff. I'm better off without a man, because in her personal life, she probably was better off without a man. But that's based on the men that she's dealing with. But we have to, at some point, realize that either we don't sacrifice, either we do sacrifice, or if not, we just continue to cycle. And what do I mean by sacrifice when I was having this conversation with her? Because she was saying, like, I'm not sacrificing and having, a bad relationship just to have a man in the house. And I'm like, damn, I get what you're saying. However, you're going to have to sacrifice some. And why I said that women are just as terrible as y'all believe men are, we have to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice. And I'm gonna go somewhere where I wasn't gonna go. I was talking to my mom and my dad about, some of the basketball players, the black basketball players having white wives. And my comment was that a lot of these high level men, high value, whatever you want to call it, they're not going to tolerate the same stuff that other men tolerate. They're not. And let's just be real. And a lot of these high value women, they may feel the same. Totally cool. And I brought up the point. I said, listen, we all know the dynamics between the black man and the black woman have produced a lot of this toxicity, to the point where it's damn near like we are more compatible. Like it's easier, quote unquote, easier maybe to date outside your race as a black man. It's going to be easier. I'm not saying it's better. It's almost like Dion. You take the Colorado money, it's easier life over there. But that purpose with Jackson State hits different. You may not have all the glitz and the glamour, you know what I mean? Or life may not be as easy. But when it comes to your purpose and where you're needed, it's the Jackson State, right? So for black men, I'm just talking about black men right now. When it comes to us dating outside of our race, it may be easier. Matter of fact, I would say it's definitely easier. Just being real, it's easier. And what do I mean by easy? I just mean like it's less combative, it's less resentment. It just is what it is, just based on the history that we've had between each other. But when it comes to my purpose and what I need to do, because if all of us just go that way, then it's like, what do we do with all these sisters over here? You get what I'm saying? They need us. Our women need our leadership. They need our strong leadership. So when it comes down to this, when we look at it, we have to sacrifice as well. We may not be, let's be real. We're not choosing from the same batch of women that were maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago. Just like y'all ain't choosing from the same batch of men that were here 30, 40, 50 years ago. So we're sacrificing as well. And when I had the conversation with her, as far as sacrificing, it's like, yo, the woman that we end up marrying, courting, they may not be at the level of where maybe women were 40, 50 years ago. And in that same instance where it's like, okay, when you first start courting a woman, her mindset is maybe here for the 40, 50 years ago, right? But now the women's mindset may be here, but we have to figure out how to grow together to both get here. And it works both ways with the men. Ladies, the men that y'all meet, their mindset, their leadership, they weren't taught it. It wasn't a necessity. There wasn't as much urgency. We live in a society where you're just free to do whatever. So what ends up happening is there's less urgency for a man to become a man. So a lot of times when you're dating, the man's not going to be at the certain standard that that man was 40, 50 years ago. So we all have to sacrifice because, and what do I mean by sacrifice? I keep saying it. We have to understand that the relationships that we're going to get in right now, they're probably not going to be, they're going to require a whole lot of work. It just is what it is. It's going to require more work than maybe the work required 40, 50 years ago. One, because let's take it how when we were getting married, let's say right out of slavery. Yeah, you needed each other. You needed to have kids. You needed a family. So there's a certain level of urgency. Right now, we may not need that. So I ain't dealing with that. I don't need that. I could be fine by myself. Cool, whatever. Both sides thinking that. The urgency is not there for us to become the people that we need to become, for us to pass down the right values and principles to the next generation. So the sacrifice is us understanding that and us having the grace to still work together to allow each other to grow into that person that we need to become. With an understanding and a commitment, the commitment has to be there that you are willing to grow. And if we do not understand that sacrifice, I hope that my relationship that I end up being in, when I get married, my family, I hope that my kids have better relationships than me. I hope that we can reverse this cycle, because we can look at it from the old days and say their relationships may have been better. Relationships are getting worse and worse and worse, the dynamics of them. So hopefully we can flip the switch. We got to understand, like, there was a certain level of sacrifice that people had back then that we didn't have now. And I get it, because it's a different times that we're living in. So if we're not willing to sacrifice, we're not gonna grow. We're just not. And hold on, Tafari, my fault. I went on a tangent. Tafari wrote, "Ladies, get ready to hate me. Most women live in a protected, delusional world, and unfortunately, they teach their sons from that standpoint, which is why they need a man in the kids' lives." And to be honest, Tafari, I don't even think that most women here will hate you from saying that, because I think what ends up happening is if we have a full conversation, and this always happens with me, I don't know if it happens with you, but when we have a full conversation and I sit down with a woman, even if I'm arguing with her on certain points, but once we have a full conversation and go over everything, we realize, like, yo, we may have different ways of getting there, but we're trying to get to the same point. And I think that because we have more extensive conversations here, there's just more of a openness. Maybe you can call it a vulnerability, or just a vulnerability from the standpoint of, hey, I'm willing to hear this person out. So I don't think the ladies here are going to hate you. But if what ends up happening, the problem is, should I just never put up reels, never put up short reels, because you only get a piece of it, but maybe it's still worth it to get people's attention and to get them at least engaged in the conversation. I don't know. But that's where we are. And hold on, I want to make sure that I covered everything. I want to make sure, because I took my notes today, because I knew this was going to be but yeah, so this, and I wanted to take a shift to a few other topics, but I think we're just going to stay here. Because like I told y'all, I said I got to finish up in a couple minutes anyway. But I just really want us to figure out a way how we can make this thing work together. We need each other. And one of the things that I don't hear a lot of men running around saying they don't need women. I just don't hear. Maybe I'm just not in these conversations, not in these rooms. But I just don't tend to hear men running around saying, I don't need no woman. A man running around saying they don't need no woman, I'm just going to assume that you're gay. I really am. I'm just going to assume that you're gay, I need a woman. I need a woman. Shoot, I, I I ain't trying to get in trouble on here, but shoot, if anything, not me, I'm not saying me, but if anything, you hear most men say they need, if they'll say they need multiple women before they say I don't need no woman. That's what Ant just said it himself. How can a straight man not need a woman? Like, I couldn't even understand. I couldn't even picture myself saying I don't need a woman. So when I hear women saying that they don't need men, it just does a lot. It triggers me. But it really just makes me sad because it's like, damn, like, have we really gotten to the point where we are that bad to where a woman feels that she's comfortable even saying that? And it's just something that we got to look. We got to look at ourselves for, because like he said, we can argue about this. It could be probably nothing gets more views than these conversations. But in all actuality, bro, I'm trying to talk politics. I'm trying to talk there's a lot more conversations that I'd rather have than us figuring out how we can work together as a man and a woman. Like, think about it. There's no other fit that is better between a man and a woman. There is no better fit. No things that were created on earth to be together more than a man and a woman. But what ends up happening? We are at odds, resenting each other. And I don't know. And why you say trigger like that? Yo, but let me apologize because there's a lot more to talk about. And I think I'm gonna this next show, we may end up doing something tomorrow night instead of Friday morning, or doing something Friday night as well. But I think Friday morning I have to take a flight out, but I want us to continue this conversation. Let me ask y'all, what y'all up to tonight or tomorrow morning? If I send a few of y'all just the link, maybe we could just tap in and continue to have this conversation, touch on some other stuff, because I want to get towards the solutions. I want us to figure out the solutions. But one thing that I have to do, my parents are getting ready to leave. Y'all know what my parents mean to me. I got to say bye to them before they leave. So maybe let's just take 30 seconds before we wrap it up. We got to do that. 30 seconds to just envision how we can be the change, how we can be better in our relationships, how we can do what we started off with this book said, The Law of Success, as far as being more in control. I know that's something that I can always work on, being more in control, especially when we're having these conversations, because like I said, the conversations usually get to the point where they're so disrespectful, they end up going left, end up going there, to where we don't even realize, like, yo, we actually fighting for the same things. It's just that your experience have shaped you to be upset in this way, and my experience have shaped me to be upset in that way. But we want the same things, bro. We want happy relationships. We want healthy relationships. We want our women to be the most amazing things. We want us to be the most amazing leader. All these different things we're looking for. So 30 seconds. Let's just envision what that looks like in our own personal lives. So let's go. All right, I think I did about 20 seconds, but I got to run. And I'm thinking tomorrow. Tomorrow night maybe, but I'll shoot y'all a text. I know there's 4,000 of y'all in the building, but I'll try to make sure that I get to everybody. Shoot y'all a text or shoot y'all a message. Yo, I swear, man, I love y'all, man. I love y'all. Y'all really tap in consistently. Yo, I could talk about this and get really emotional just because I really appreciate it. And I promise y'all, like this is just, it means a lot to me. So appreciate y'all. We'll continue to have a convo. Y'all put up with me. So it's definitely a certain level of gratitude there. So I promise we'll do something. We'll do something, and I'll keep y'all posted. Stay in tune with the Instagram. But like I said, I'll reach out to y'all individually as well. With that, I shall see y'all soon. Onward and upward. Y'all know what we do. Strength and honor. We elevate on purpose, both with intention as well as doing what we're here to do, our contribution to the world. And yeah, let's just make sure that we continue to grow. And with that, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.